Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this Saturday morning edition of New Distributor Training. My name is Fred Holmes. I'm privileged to be the guest trainer today. Excited about that. Got a whole page full of notes. And where'd they go? Had them right here. Could be a problem. Oh, don't go anywhere. Yeah, so it's always the question, is this live or is this Memorex? And if you're old enough to remember that line, dang. It's a good thing you're using Zija. So welcome everybody. Good to have you with us. Especially those of you, well, not especially. Welcome. I'm glad to have everybody with us. But I want to focus for a moment on our brand new distributors. Maybe this is your first chance to be part of a new distributor training. We're excited to have you. I want to give you a couple of quick notes here that you're going to want to take specifically. New distributor training isn't something that we do every single Saturday morning, the same new distributor training. We want to use this time to continue the process of helping you become better every day, to become more skilled at the profession of network marketing, to be focusing on developing you as a distributor so that you can have more of what it is you came here to achieve. And so what I've done is I've put together a few small training videos. I call them the new distributor training. And I encourage you to get a hold of those and take a look at those. That'll kind of bring you up to speed. It'll give you the foundation that you need to start being able to build yourself as you develop within this concept of a home-based business that we can start part-time, eventually become a full-time enterprise, and for many of us it's become a life-changing enterprise. And so I'm going to put this in the chat box for those of you on your mobile devices. Just tap your screen, you'll see the little chat bubble, and you can view this. I'm going to give you a website address. It's my YouTube channel, www.youtube.com/Fred Holmes Zija. That looks right. Why didn't that look right? I think it's right. Let's see if it works. I'm going to click the link and ta-da, comes up. Yep. Okay, got the right link in there. So on that YouTube channel, you're going to find archived all the presentations, that I produce, the Thursday night business presentations. Those, by the way, are great tools for you to use for a second, first or second exposure to people about what it is we're doing from a business perspective. You'll find the Saturday morning new distributor trainings. If you missed the last couple of weeks of new distributor training, I encourage you to go there and view those. You'll notice a playlist tab on that first page. And the playlist tab, when you click there, you'll find 4 videos. The first one is 30 minutes long. It's called New Distributor Training. And that's the one I encourage you to take some time and review. It's going to give you, well, frankly, it's a kind of a culmination of everything that I've learned about this profession of network marketing in now 35 years that I've been in or around the profession. And it'll give you that foundation. It'll give you what I was given 35 years ago when I attended my very first new distributor training in my very first company. That company has historically been known as providing some of the finest distributor training that's ever existed in our profession. And even today, 35 years later, people are still sharing those same concepts, because those concepts, true concepts, okay, are going to, go beyond, time, technology, what have you. Those concepts, those core fundamentals will always be the foundation of success in our profession. So I really encourage you to take 30 minutes and look at that, and I encourage you to do it over and over again. One of the interesting things with that previous company, new distributor training was a Saturday morning event that occurred every Saturday morning. We were, it was impressed upon us that these concepts, these fundamentals, would never change, and that those were the core principles of success in our profession. Now, what's interesting is over the years, we've seen transitions within network marketing. Pat Anderson interviewed me a couple of weeks ago, week before this week, I think, where we're talking about the stages of development of network marketing. And the core principles, the fundamentals were developed in the 50s and the 60s and the 70s. In the 80s and 90s was the development of the, core leadership of network marketing based upon those principles. Now, what we've had over the last 15, 20 years is starting to question those core principles. And we've seen fragmentation of those core principles. And what we've noticed in the industry is kind of a stagnation of the growth of network marketing. And it's because we've gotten away from those core principles. And so I encourage you to get yourself firmly grounded in those basics. Watch that video. There'll be 3 additional little videos there. They're 10 minutes apiece. Those 3 videos, how to develop a prospect list like the professionals do, how to develop your personal story, the most important tool you'll have in building your business, how to do a 90-day game plan. Those 3 little videos, again, about 30 minutes total, those would comprise what I would call the fast start training. For those of you that want to get off to a fast start, develop some momentum out of the gate in your business, those kinds of things will be very helpful to you. Now, today what I want to do is I want to kind of continue on the process that we've been doing for the last 2 weeks. Let me review just a little bit from the homework assignment, if you will, of last week. I was talking about this concept of, for things to get better, you have to get better. Okay, nothing changed. I mean, if you're waiting for the election to change things, if you're waiting for the weather to change things, if you're waiting for, whatever, none of that's going to make any difference to you. Okay, people thrive in, good economies and bad economies. People thrive when the Democrats are in power or the Republicans are in power. People thrive when the weather's great and the weather's not great. Okay, and people fail to thrive under those same circumstances. The point being here is that the circumstances have absolutely nothing to do with whether or not you thrive or you fail to thrive. It has to do with you. Okay, that's the only variable in the equation. And I can come up with many different examples of how that has happened. But the point being, and I think all of you will start to realize this, when any circumstance exists and somebody is doing well within that circumstance, it has more to do with who they are than the circumstance. Because under the same conditions, others may not do well. You reverse the circumstance. You'll have people doing well and people not doing well. The variable is really you. And so for things to get better, you have to get better. And one of the things I left you with last week was this concept of starting to make incremental changes on changing you. And what I suggested you do for your homework was to, select 2 things that you should start doing today to improve your situation, to improve yourself. Select 2 things that you're doing today that you need to stop doing. And then finally, find 2 things that you are currently doing that you need to do more of. Okay, you need to keep doing those 2 things and you need to do more of it. So just, kind of a little review here. 2 things that you should start doing. Well, maybe, one of the things that you should start doing is incorporating into your day, 20 or 30 minutes of personal development or skill sets development. Again, for things to get better, you have to get better. Okay, things will not get better automatically by themselves. You're the singular variable in the equation. So, maybe that's one of the things that you've selected, to incorporate 20 or 30 minutes a day of personal development or skill sets development. Here's a good example. Personal development might be spending 20 or 30 minutes listening to an audio recording of the great late Jim Rohn. Okay, I spend a lot of time listening to Jim Rohn material. Maybe one of the things that you might do is, start reading some of the books that successful people have read. You know, read a chapter. Take 15 or 20 minutes and read a chapter of James Allen's book, As a Man Thinketh. You know, invest 20 or 30 minutes into reading, you know, a chapter of I did As a Man Thinketh, Og Mandino's book, The Greatest Salesman in the World. There are many books I've read today that I never even knew existed 35 years ago. It was kind of an interesting revelation when I first got involved in this kind of business. You know, I used to be a cross-country truck driver. I was looking for a way to create more income for my son as he was entering school. And what I found was the most successful people in the industry that I chose to join, network marketing, they were reading books that I'd never even heard of. At the time, you know, I rode motorcycles, I drove 18-wheelers, and I had a subscription, you know, 3 or 4 different motorcycle magazines were coming to my house every single month. Now, what I found was the top income earners, they didn't have any motorcycle magazines coming to their house. And that was a clue. They were not investing time in something I was investing time in, but they were reading. They kept talking about books that I had never even heard of. And so fortunately, I was smart enough to realize that if I wanted to have what they had, I should start doing what they do. And I started reading the books. Now, I'll be real candid with you. I'm not a very good reader. Okay. It's part of being a special child, right? But what I found was the audio recordings of these books were things that I could, you know, invest time in and metabolize to get out of. And so, you know, while I own, you know, lots of great books, an awful lot of what I've learned has come from hearing the audio recordings of those books. So maybe that's an example of something that you can start doing that's going to be beneficial to helping you become more. Pick 2 things to stop doing. Here's a real good example. Maybe you should stop, you know, staying up 30 minutes later to watch the news or, and actually, I was about to say the Johnny Carson show. I don't think Johnny Carson has been on the air for a while. Now you know how much TV I watch, right? But you know, maybe if you were to stop spending that last 30 minutes of the evening watching a television show that frankly will make 0 impact on your future, make 0 impact on your finances, make 0 impact on your family, and take that 30 minutes from the end of the day, get to bed 30 minutes earlier and get up 30 minutes earlier so that you can then incorporate that one thing that you are going to start doing, which is spending 20 or 30 minutes in the morning doing some, you know, personal development, skill sets development. Last item, you know, pick a couple of things that you should keep on doing. Now, these are things that are being productive to your life, things that are already starting to make an impact in your life that is leading you to where you want to be. And that could be something as simple as, you know, maybe you've made that decision, you're going to get into better health, better shape, what have you. And that might be, you know, that first 20 or 30 minutes in the morning, get up and do a little exercise, you know, jump on the exercise bike, you know, take the quick brisk walk around the block, whatever it might be. So the things that I talk about are relatively simple. They're not major lifestyle changes. But the phrase that keeps coming back to my mind over and over and over again, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. There is no, if you had told me in 1985 that there would come a time in my life where, you know, I had not owned a rental property, I had a real estate portfolio where I had, you know, what I used to consider masses of amounts of money in reserves, in savings. Okay, I mean, I remember, you know, growing up, you know, mom was raised as a single mom. Our idea of savings just didn't exist. There was no such thing as a savings account, right? There was a piggy bank. That was ours, right? The kids, but there was no concept of that. As a young adult, you know, if I had $300 in my savings account, I thought I was rich. But all it really was a resource for when I need to buy a new tire for my motorcycle. This concept of being able to have a net worth, to have more assets than you have debts. None of that stuff. If you would have told me that, 35 years ago, I never would have believed it. I never believed that I would drive the car that I'm driving. It wasn't until I started in this path of network marketing and learning the things that the successful people were willing to share with me, how to create a vision in my mind before the event took place, how to, I started dreaming of driving a car. And I mean, I distinctly remember driving, my old 63 Chevy pickup down the road from a meeting in Santa Barbara back to Ventura, and envisioning that instead of driving the 63 Chevy pickup, I was driving what at that time was my dream of a, high performance racing car. Now, the car back then that I envisioned isn't the car I drive today, okay? But the concept is still the same. It was a Turbo Carrera Porsche back then, and now it's an M6 V10. The specific brand and model isn't the issue. It was, where did the car that I drive today can't come from? It came from a vision that I purposefully planted in my head many, many years ago. And that's one of the keys to success in our business, is to be able to envision your future before you achieve it. Now, let's continue on this thing. I identified 3 specific things that I think will be very important for each one of you to concentrate on as you build your business, as you develop the lifestyle that you desire, whatever the reason was that you came to Zija. These 3 things, and a lot of what I do on Saturday mornings comes out of, real life during the week, things that have happened, with me during this past week. Interactions with other team members and small groups and what have you. Identified 3 things that you're going to want to concentrate on. Number 1 is focus. Okay, so write this in your notes. Number 1 is focus. Focusing on the correct activities. It is so easy, especially if you've never been highly successful in our business, to focus on many different things that really have nothing to do with achieving what you're looking for. Okay, so creating focus, and this is really kind of important. I used to have a ball cap that's what it said, was focus. I looked, it was actually a company name, but I loved the hat because it was perfect. I wore that hat around all the time, and it was perfect for a guy like me because, I'm poster child ADHD child, right? Squirrel, right? Shiny objects. It's incredible. I tell people, you have no idea what's going on up there. It's like a 3-ring circus going on in my brain all the time. But this concept of focus is critical for success in virtually anything that you're going to be involved in, but specifically today talking about developing your Zija business. Now, what do you focus on? Focus on income generating activities. That's all there is. In business, and be real clear on this, we're in business, okay? Now, I'm not saying every single Zija distributor focuses on their Zija business as a real business. We have a lot of hobbyists, and there's nothing wrong with that, okay? Everybody joins, what we do based upon their interests, their desires, their goals, what have you. And for a lot of people, this is very much a social thing, let's face it, we're nice people, and we tend to be upbeat and, positive and goal-oriented, and who wouldn't want to hang around with people like that? I mean, realistically, a lot of people you hang around with at work, they're kind of dull, they're kind of negative, who would want to hang around with them? And so for a lot of people, this is much more of a social thing, and that's fine, okay? Why? Because those folks, let's call them the hobbyists, they use our products every single month. They contribute to an ongoing revenue income stream through use of our products. And as hobbyists, they will eventually introduce somebody to our products or somebody to our business, and therefore generate additional consumption of our products. And that's what we're in business for, is to create a consumer base that purchases our products on a monthly basis. They do it month after month, year after year. This creates residual income. Okay, so we love hobbyists. Okay, well, we love you and we want you to keep hanging out with us. But be also realistic that if your goals are above average, if your goals are higher level goals, then you will have to have a higher level focus on what you do in your business. And so focus on income generating activities. What are those income generating activities? For those of you that watched that first 30-minute video that I mentioned at the top of the hour, the new distributor training, you already know the answer. Okay, that's the cheat key, code, right? The cheat key. 3 things that we do that generate income. We share our product, we share our income opportunity, and we teach others to do the same. And so as you go about your day-to-day activities and building your Zija business, here's one real simple thing you can do to identify what is your level of focus, what you're doing at the moment. Okay, is it sharing the product? Is it sharing the opportunity? Or is it teaching others to do the same? Now, those are the 3 things that generate income. Let me add a couple of things in there that are the precursors to generating income. Personal development, skill sets development. That's what today is. Today, you are spending time, you're investing time with us, looking to develop yourself more personal development, more skill sets development, and prepare yourself to be able to teach others to do the same. Okay, so when you invest 15 minutes in your Zija business, 30 minutes in your Zija business, an hour today in your Zija business, what category did the activities that you were doing, what category did they fit into? Was it sharing the product? Was it sharing the opportunity? Was it teaching others to do the same? Was it improving on you and your ability to teach others? Because if it didn't fall into those categories, then it was probably not an activity that actually generated income. Okay, so number 1, focus. Make sure your focus is correct. Number 2, let's talk about consistency. See, to me, this is the magic of network marketing. It's the reason why a guy like me, with my background, my education, my work experience, my life experiences leading up to 1985, could actually have all the things that have accumulated over the years because of this profession. It was consistency, a daily method of operation. The magic of our business is you don't have to be a superstar. You don't have to be a high-level achiever. You don't have to come to the table with incredible skills, experience, talents, what have you, because the thing that will override, rise above all of those attributes, experience, talent, what have you, is the ability to be consistent on a daily basis. And for me, as a cross-country truck driver, that was my sweet spot. Okay, that's what allowed me to do what I did back then. I had the capacity to do the same thing over and over and over and over again. There was quite a long period of time in my career driving trucks where I ran a sleeper team run by myself. Sleeper team runs where you got 2 guys driving the truck, keep it running around the clock. And I did the job of 2 people. I did it by myself. I thought I was a pretty smart guy. I made twice the money, right? That's a pretty good deal. The only way that that a young guy, like back then, not now, I'm an old guy now, but back then, the only reason a young guy with long hair from California could outrun 2 seasoned, old hand truck drivers is because I had that specialized skill of being able to stay in the saddle long enough. Run a mile, run another mile, run another mile, and I just wouldn't quit. And that's what allowed me to excel in that profession. The same attribute allowed me to excel in this profession. I was not an overnight success in my first company, nor was I an overnight success in Zija. Okay, but what I did have was the ability to do the same thing every single day, share the product, share the opportunity, teach others to do the same. And because of that consistency of effort, I eventually was able to get a customer, and then another customer, and then another customer. And I was eventually able to get a new distributor, and then another distributor, and then another distributor. And what's very interesting is that in that first company, the second company I was with, and in Zija, there were many people that got out of the gate and hit high levels of success much quicker than me, but they're not around anymore. Whereas while I was not the fastest person, I was the person that stayed at it long enough to get the results, and those results is what kept me in. And so for all of you that have been around for a while, maybe you haven't gotten the kinds of results that you're looking for. Those of you maybe just getting started with us and not sure that you can actually achieve the level of success that you desire, have full confidence and faith that it's within your capacity to do so, simply because the things that create high levels of success in our business are not things that are spectacular. They're not special events. They're not related to special talents. They're related to the things that every single one of us can develop within ourselves. So focus on correct activities. Consistency, we could call that daily method of operation. Know what you're going to do every day before you go to bed the night before, and then consistently do those activities. Third item is accountability. And this is really critical because too often, the people, not too often, most often, the people that come to our type of business come from an arena where accountability is external to them. They come from the job environment. And so, 95% of the world has a job, okay? 95% of the world works for 5% of the world. Now, in a job environment, certainly we have responsibilities and tasks and duties and that sort of thing, but all those things are determined for us by the employer. And while we, as good employees, strive to do our very best, the fact of the matter is the accountability for completion of those items, that is overseen by the employer. For example, if you don't accomplish the task you're supposed to, the employer will fire you. That's how it works, right? And so this concept of accountability is really critical because you can develop high-level skills and understandings of the correct activities, the correct focus. You can start to develop good consistency, daily method of operation. But somebody has to be accountable for the results. And when you're self-employed, that's you. Now, this past week, I've had conversations with people concerning the concept of an accountability partner. And I highly encourage that. I highly encourage you to have somebody that you can work with as an accountability partner, somebody to hold you accountable for doing the things you said you were going to do. Okay, now I think that's a great process. All right, and be clear, you don't need to have me as your accountability partner. Okay, you don't need to have a top level earner to be your accountability partner. You don't even need somebody that's within the profession of network marketing to be an accountability partner. You simply need somebody that you can count on to be responsible for telling you like it is, calling a spade, if you will, right? The concept here is that if you have an accountability partner, you want somebody that you feel comfortable saying, this is what I want. These are my goals. These are the things that I'm going to do to attain those goals. And this is when I'm going to do it. And that person, you have enough faith and belief in them that they will then actually hold you accountable to it. Okay. To say, maybe a weekly meeting, spend 15, 20 minutes a week. Last week, you said you were going to do this, this, and this. Did you do that, that, and that? Okay, somebody that will be in your corner, supporting your goals by holding you accountable to what it is that you desire, okay, what you've committed to doing. And I think accountability is critical. Myself personally, um, I've always been my own worst critic. Okay, I've always been the, I've had a lot of people say, "Well, Fred, you've done so well in a couple of different companies. You must be highly competitive." Uh, I'm I'm not highly competitive. Honestly, I'm. That's probably why I never ventured into sports. My one sports thing that I ever did. I was 13 years old. I joined the city recreation department tennis club, right, for the summer. And honestly, it had nothing to do with tennis. It had a whole lot more to do with 13-year-old girls in short skirts. I'm just being honest, all right. And so that was my one big tennis thing, right? And I was just happy to be there, right? It didn't make any. Honestly, at that age, I'd grown so fast. I was so uncoordinated. I really wasn't very good. But that was my reason for being there. Not very competitive. It's never been an issue to me to try and beat somebody else to a certain rank advancement or what have you. I get excited when other people rank advance. I get excited when other people rank advance beyond me. Okay, because what it says to me is if they can do it, if one person can do it, then another person can do it. And if another person can do it, then I can do it too. Okay, maybe not as fast, maybe not as fancy, maybe not as flashy, but I can still achieve the goal. For accountability, for me, I've always been highly competitive against me, holding myself to a higher standard so that when I say, this is what I'm going to do today, I'm highly competitive against me. I hold myself to a very high standard. If I commit to doing something, then I have to do that for my own personal, I don't know how to phrase it, my own personal acceptance of who I am. Okay. I do not like to fail. If I've set a goal, I want to achieve that goal. Doesn't bother me so much if it takes me longer than other people. Okay, and actually that's one of the things I had to learn in life, very early on in life. I can do anything anybody else can do. Okay, it may take me a little bit longer to read the book. It may take me a little bit longer to understand what the teacher was saying, but I can do it. And so, whatever it is that you need in your life, whether it be an accountability partner or to increase your competitiveness against yourself, that's one of the critical factors. Focus, consistency of activity, accountability. Be accountable for what it was you said you were going to do. Now, I want to continue on the theme that I started 2 weeks ago concerning the you factor. Okay, because again, and I'm not, trying to beat a dead horse, but this is real simple. If one person can achieve high level success within our company, our compensation plan, using our products, then that means that it can be done and another person can do it. When you look at what the variables are, okay, and what the variables aren't, okay, here's variables that don't exist. We all use the same pay plan, okay? Everybody gets paid the same. We don't have a special or secret pay plan for, guys like me versus somebody else. There's not, here's a good example. Okay, unlike the real world, in Zija, we don't have this concept of a glass ceiling. All right, highly educated people get paid the same exact way that people with lower levels of education, high school diplomas or dropouts. Okay, we don't have a special compensation plan for people that are more mature versus young people. Now, if you look in the marketplace, it's pretty obvious. You take any profession, somebody who's in their 40s, 50s, and 60s is going to earn more money than somebody in their 20s, 30s, and 40s. Okay, in our compensation plan, age is not a variable. Okay, in the real world, you look across the demographics, Men in any given position are going to make more money than women in the very same position. You know, of course, it's not right, but it is. Whereas in our compensation plan, there is no variable there. Women get paid exactly the same amount as men. You know, and any other variables that you can look at that distinguish the difference between higher level incomes versus lower, you know, education, gender, age, race, socioeconomic status, you know, family background, all those things will dramatically impact one's capacity to earn money in the real world. However, in our world, none of those are variables. Okay, that does not exist. So what's the variable? It's you. The difference between somebody that makes, you know, $100 a week versus $1,000 a week, you know, assuming the same amount of time, the only difference is the person. The difference between somebody who makes $1,000 a week versus $1,000 a day, assuming we, you know, appropriate amount of time to build to that level, it's the person. Okay, and so this becomes one of the factors that we all need to look at. Is it's not, you know, what is he doing or she doing that's helping them make so much money? What's their secret? You know, what's their, you know, social media, you know, techniques? Okay, has nothing to do with it. Okay, here's a really good one. I do nothing on social media. Okay, and I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with social media. A lot of people use social media for building their business. I just don't happen to be one of them. Okay, now, has that hindered my ability to be a top level income earner? Absolutely not. Okay, that's a technique. My focus has always been on the concepts that create success. And here's the takeaway: you can have more because you can become more. There's always something that you can do to improve your situation. Now, as long as I've been around, and you know, and I've been around a long time, okay, as long as I've been around, pretty much everybody, maybe not everybody, but most everybody that I've ever met has wanted to have, you know, an above average income, or, you know, an above average lifestyle, or, you know, an above average car, above average home, you know, take above average vacations, you know, have above average relationships, have above average, you know, health and vitality, have a, you know, above average, you know, figure or physique. Okay, most everybody that I've met has wanted, you know, to have above average, you know, income and so on. Now, the interesting thing is that while most everybody wants that, most people don't believe it's within their grasp, within their capacity. And I'm telling you, you can have more because you can become more. And I'm going to give you the secret right now. Okay, we're going to look at the timestamp and I'm going to mark it. Have you got your pen ready? Are you all set? Here's the secret: that you can have more because you can become more, and it has everything to do with being above average. That's it. If you want to have above average income, you're going to have to be above average in your focus, above average in your consistency, above average in your accountability. If you want to have above average, you know, home, above average vacations, above average lifestyle, above average health, above average, you know, figure, physique. This is simple. You simply have to become above average. Now, how do you do that? Again, focus, consistency, accountability. Have an above average attitude. If you want to be above, you've never met somebody that's above average whose attitude is, yeah, okay, whatever. I mean, think about it. If you meet people at one of the big events, the above average earners have an above average attitude, above average enthusiasm, above average handshake, above average, you know, walk, you know. you're gonna have to be above average. Do not expect to have high level achievement today if you aren't willing to become above average. And the good news is you don't have to be way above average. Average, the 50 percentile, if you simply got 60% or 70 percentile, got a little bit better, that separates you from the masses. It's so interesting to me to today, as you know, as I see friends of mine that have known me for 40 and 50 years, and the difference in our lifestyles and the difference in our attitudes and the difference on our outlook for the future is so much different than mine. Yet the amount of improvement that I had to do was very little. I was just willing to do that over a prolonged period of time. So here's a little bit of homework for you, and then I'm going to open up the questions if there's any. Here's a little bit of homework for you. This week, I want you to focus on, one or two or three things that you will strive to be above average. You don't have to be in the top 1 percentile, the top 10 percentile, the top 20 percentile. Strive to be slightly above the 50th percentile. And that could be something as simple as, how do you greet people? Okay? Instead of, hi, how you doing? Hi, how are you doing? Look them in the eye and be sincere about wanting to know their condition at the moment. Okay? That's above average. Because if you think about it, the masses, they say, hi, how you doing? And they don't really even care. It was like, it was like a reflex reaction when they saw you. Be above average. Be a little bit above average when you shake somebody's hand. Be a little bit above average in how you carry yourself, shoulders back, right? Be a little bit above average in how you on your diet. Okay, instead of 2 scoops of ice cream, have 1. I don't know if that's a great example, but you're getting what I'm saying. Strive to be just a little bit above average on 1 or 2 or 3 things this week. Because if you do that this week and you compound it that next week and you compound it the week after, a year from now, you have 52 opportunities to grow 1% better from the 50th percentile. That'll make you a 1%er. If you simply did a little bit every week and got just 1% better, that'll make you in the top 1%. So hopefully this was helpful today. If you came here looking for, what do I do? How do I do it? Where do I go? Who do I talk to? What do I say? You didn't get it. And the reason for that is that doesn't make any difference. How do you talk to people? What do you say to them? Whatever you say. Share your story. The 4 little training videos that are in the on the YouTube channel in the playlist section, that'll teach you what you need to know. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and start to conclude things here. I got a couple of announcements I want to make, but I want to make sure that I give you ample opportunity. If you have any questions, thoughts, comments, please put them in the chat box for me. Let's see here. While you're formulating questions, who I got here? Oh man, I got a lot of my friends here. Good to see y'all. Let's see, a couple quick announcements for you. Okay, today is the last day to join the IsaBody Challenge. Okay, everybody wants to do that. Okay, trust me on this. Everybody wants to do that. Primary reason for joining the IsaBody Challenge, in my opinion, is to start to get into the routine of the activities that our new company is involved in. These are things that they have proven over the years are incredible contests for being able to promote customer loyalty, retention rate, and so on. We want to make that transition into a well-running machine, and this is one of the ways that we can do this, okay? So today's the last day. If you haven't joined the IsaBody Challenge, do so today. Here's all you need to do. Number 1, enroll. You can go to Isogenics.com/Zija. You'll see a website there with some information on it. There'll be a link in there that says leader information, I believe it is. When you go there, you'll see another, series of things that you can check out. One of them will be the IsoBody Challenge, and you can enroll there. So that's one thing you need to do. You need to have 3 pictures, front, back, and side, or profile. Get your spouse or your kids or whatever to take pictures of you. And then you'll want to upload those when you do your online enrollment. And let's see here, you're going to need to purchase, if you haven't already purchased here in the last week or two, you want to purchase by today, when you submit that application, the basic kit from Isogenics. That's available in your Zija back office in your order area. So do that, folks. I'm doing it. Okay, and it's not like I really particularly want to lose a lot of weight. I would like to transfer a little bit of the extra, old guy stuff from the center around here and do a little more extra muscle mass. That'll be fine. I'm looking forward to doing that. I'm excited about it. But more importantly, it's getting involved in the process of what they're doing. Monday morning, I'm going to give you a little heads up. Be prepared. Monday morning, first thing, you're going to get an email in your inbox from Zija Corporate announcing a special promotion for period 151. We start period 151 today. And so, be looking for that. Yes, I know what it is. They told me. But they also told me not to tell you. So I won't tell you because they told me not to. But they didn't tell me that I couldn't tell you what to do. All right. So if you haven't done so already, go into your Zija back office, go to the, on my team, what's it called? Give me a quick second here, see if I can find it. I'm not going to bother to do that right now. In your back office, there is an area where you can pull up all of your personally enrolled team members, all your personally enrolled customers, all your personally enrolled distributors. And what you're going to want to do is pull up that information, identify who those people are, because Monday morning you will already have most of the homework done to participate in this upcoming challenge. Okay, so period 151 starts today for the next 28 days. We've got an opportunity to earn more money with the people that are already part of our system today. So I don't think I violated any of my, the requirements not to tell you what the deal is. So, but gave you an idea on how to get started. All right. Let's see here. Any other last questions before I close it out for the day? Anybody? Raise your hand. Thank you, Mary. You're so sweet. I appreciate that. And I think we're looking good for now. So, folks, it's only a matter of time before we make this final transition to become fully involved in the Isogenics company. Get yourself involved in these products. I've been doing these products now for oh geez, I'm on day 10 or 11 or something like that. Haven't seen a dramatic weight loss. And my weight fluctuates a few pounds one way or the other throughout the week. What I have seen is almost an inch reduction around the waist, and that's pretty exciting to me. And the fact is that for a long time I've been focusing on diet and good nutrition and working out, going to the gym regularly, and I'm noticing big strides in just the last, I think today is day 12, day 11. That I've been using the Isogenic products, in conjunction with my Zija products, of course. I'm not going to give up that stuff, right? So, Johnny, thank you very much. Marianne, thank you, Marianne. I appreciate that. I don't need the kudos, but I do appreciate the comments because it helps me understand whether or not I'm communicating effectively. I know what I want to say. I just want to make sure I say it to where you can hear it. So with that, we'll go ahead and close it out for today. This recording will be posted here a little bit later on today. If you have team members that needed to see it. And with that, I'll bid you adieu. Have a wonderful week. Have the best week of your entire life. Make that your goal for this first cycle of period 151. See y'all. Have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.